Have you ever tried to learn multiple languages? Today, that's what this episode is about. How to talk about many languages you are learning on the Social English Podcast, English Repair Shop. Let's get started.
今日は英語修理店のエピソードです。英語を勉強している日本人が英語の間違いを正してくれないかと尋ねました。これを実際の会話英語で行ってみます。
Welcome back to the Social English Podcast, the podcast that helps you get better at speaking real social English every day. I'm Percy, your host for today's episode. Today, we have another English Repair Shop episode where someone is going to learn how to fix their English. But what English level should you, the listener, be at? That answer is coming from my friend Ko.
今日のソーシャルイングリッシュのエピソードは中級または上級のスキルレベルで英語を勉強している人々を対象としています。初心者の方はゆっくりとエピソードを聞いてください。頑張れ。
Okay, so your English level should be at least a high medium to high level of English.I think if you are at a medium level of English, please listen. And if you don't understand a word, you can find it using Google. Or you can listen to this episode slowly one more time. So today is an English Repair Shop episode where we will be taking the English from a listener that asked me to help them, and we are going to fix her English. Today we have a young woman, and she wants to talk about learning new languages. Chinese, Japanese, English, Korean, German, Spanish, Italian. She wants to talk about learning languages and her problems. But she wants to talk about this in English. Okay? So think about that as you listen to part 1.So let's talk about this show and how it's organized. We have parts, 4 parts. Ko will explain.
すべての英語修理店のエピソードと同様に4つのパートがあります。パート1では英語を勉強している日本人が間違って言ったことを正確に聞くことができます。パート2では会話型のソーシャルイングリッシュスタイルで正しい英語を聞くことができます。パート3では、パーシーはあなたが同じ過ちを犯さないようにするために、彼が重要だと考えるヒントをあなたに与えます。パート4で、パーシーは正しい英語版を高速で自然な速度で言います。このようにしてネイティブの速度で英語を聞く練習をすることもできます。
Thank you for that, Ko. Thank you for explaining that in Japanese.If you are a listener from another country, we have 4 parts to English Repair Shop episodes. 1, the wrong English. 2, the correct English in slow speed, but of a conversational social English style. Part 3, hints and part 4, natural native speed English, so you can practice your listening skills. So let's get started with part 1. Part 1. Here are the 5 sentences. Here are the 5 sentences for today's episode. I made a mistake and said there are 4. There are 5 today. Okay, so please listen to these 5 sentences. Okay, 聞いてください. 1. I want to learn languages that I can't decide. 2. I want to learn English, Korean, and Chinese now. 3. I want to learn many languages, so I like to study many languages. 4. But I can't remember at once. 5. What I should do. Okay, those were the 5 sentences. All 5 sentences from today's listener. Okay, this is their request. So let's do that one more time. Again, slow speed, but this is the English part only the English parts. Please listen, 聞いてください. I want to learn languages that I can't decide. I want to learn English, Korean, and Chinese now. I want to learn many languages, so I like to study many languages. But I can't remember at once what I should do. Okay, so listeners at home listening to this podcast, I think you already have a way you would fix these sentences. Please listen to me and my way, my social English way of fixing these sentences. So this is part 2 at a slow speed. Okay? Part 2 has 5 sentences too. Let's start with sentence 1. Please listen, 聞いてください. 1. I want to learn so many languages. 2. But I can't decide which one to focus on. 3. I want to learn English, Korean, and Chinese. 4. The problem is I try to study all 3 at once. 5. What should I do? Okay, so that's it. Those are my 5 sentences of social English, the correct English way to fix this. Let's do it one more time, just the English parts only. Okay, here it is. Please listen. I want to learn so many languages, but I can't decide which one to focus on. I want to learn English, Korean, and Chinese. The problem is I try to study all 3 at once. What should I do? Okay, so that was it. Those were the 5 sentences in correct social English. Let's move on. Let's go to part 3. Here is part 3, my hints for today's episode. Today I have only 2 hints. Hint 1. If you do more than one thing, more than one thing, you can use which one to focus on. The phrase, which one to focus on. I think this is a better way to say this. It means many things you are doing at the same time make it hard. So, you are confused and it's difficult to choose one thing to do because you are doing many. Hit 2. When you say 3 at once, you are telling the person listening that it was really hard. You are really explaining that you have one thing normally to study or do, but you are trying to do 3 things. So it is really hard. So once again, that is 3 at once. You can also say 2 at once, 4 at once, 5 at once, 6 at once, any number to make your story be more clear and have more emotion and be more social English speak. Okay, so let's go to part 4. Here is the natural fast speed. Please listen. Kite kudasai. I want to learn so many languages, but I can't decide which one to focus on. I want to learn English, Korean, and Chinese. The problem is, I try to study all 3 at once. What should I do? I want to learn so many languages, but I can't decide which one to focus on. I want to learn English, Korean, and Chinese. The problem is, I try to study all 3 at once. What should I do?
このショーを気に入っていただけたら、5つ星のレビューをぜひお願いします。コメントは英語か日本語でお書きいただければ喜んで読ませていただきます。リアルソーシャルイングリッシュ .com にアクセスしてぜひ無料でダウンロードしてください。ほとんどの日本人の英語を勉強している人がやってしまいがちな7つの間違いとその正しい言い方。また、毎日英語を上達させるのに役立つ資料もたくさんあります。Apple Podcast、Google Podcast、Stitcher、そして今はパンドラでもポッドキャストを購読いただけます。支援者になっていただけませんか？私たちがこのショーを作るための支援として5ドルの寄付をお願いできませんか？今後のエピソードで感謝の気持ちをお伝えします。また、そこでしか利用できない新しいコンテンツも入手できます。patreon.com/socialenglish からご参加ください。ソーシャルメディアで私たちのポッドキャストを友達にシェアしたり、Twitter、Facebook、Instagram のフォローをお願いします。
Okay, everybody, that was it. Thanks a lot for telling everybody about the show and how to contact us. Again, visit our website, realsocialenglish.com. Okay, so today, you, my listeners, thank you so much for helping another Japanese person learning English with me today. I hope that you learned something as well. Today's action item is I want you to try to use the phrase all 3 at once. Come up with a story. Make a story where you use the phrase all 3 at once. Practice with a friend and tell them your story. If you can, try to have a conversation with a native English speaker. Maybe you have a friend from Canada, America, the Philippines, Australia, any native speaking country, or any person with native English speaking skills. Try telling them your awesome story. I want you to think about the words in today's episode that I used in Social English parts 2 and 4. Think about the words that you understand and how you can use them. If there are words you don't understand, search them up on Google so you can find out what they mean and then help increase your English learning. If you like this episode, please, everyone, I need more reviews. Please do me a favor. I really appreciate it. Please leave a review. Now, the reviews help other people learning English find this show. Subscribe to the podcast and also tell a friend. That's it for today's episode. I will see you in the next episode of the Social English Podcast. If I get more listeners and reviews, I will change this show from being once every 2 days to a daily show where I will give you more English repair shops, more English speaking tips, more social and conversation English tools. But I need to have more people listen so that it makes sense and it is worth it for you and me. Well, that's it again. Thank you for listening. Thank you for spending your time today. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Peace and love. Have a great day. Here is Hikari to close out the show. See you next time.
今日は楽しい時間をありがとうございました。ぜひ私たちのウェブサイト realsocialenglish.com を訪問して日本語訳と役立つ情報を手に入れてください。また次回お会いしましょう。バイバイ。See you next time. Bye bye.